cool. Everything's alright. You better pray that your old man don't get home tonight. Let me drive my car where the wild things are. I got a green limousine. Everyone's a star, but they won't get far without a green limousine.
Well, I took a couple of photos because I was just going to do this repair here and just chuck up some photos and not really go into it, because we spent an hour doing this and that last week's episode, but things don't always go as planned. So I drilled out the spot welds, as you saw in that last photo, and I thought, well, I'm not going to put it back together without treating this rust here, so I just got the drill and I was going to just kind of bore out the rust in each of the holes and prime it up and maybe sandblast it. There's nothing there. It's just going straight through. So now I've got to make up this whole bit. So I've got to make up this bit. If I make up this bit, well, I may as well make up that bit. And if I make up that bit, well, I may as well kick out and do the right angle and so what was going to be a really short patch, because I've got the patch ready to go in. The patch is, where's the patch? Where's the patch? Where's the patch? Hold on, I'll find the patch. Yeah, basically that's me patch ready to fine tune and weld in. And I was like, oh yeah, that's going to be beautiful. And I don't need to show the people the individual bits and pieces. I can just show them the finished product. Well, poo. I'm just a little frustrated by that, but you know, I told you guys at the beginning I'd be really honest about everything, and if I made mistakes or if I didn't see something I should have. And I mean, this is not unexpected that you're going to pull off a top skin and find it underneath, especially when I get to the sill panels. I'm completely expecting the sill panel inners to be just as stuffed as outside and all the rest of it, but I don't know. I thought I had this one in the bag, but I didn't. So I guess I mean, this is where that plastic is going to be perfect, because it'll, you know, I'll push it in and scribe along, and you know, you can perfectly get that shape there. But I want to scream and shout and roll around on the ground, have a bit of a tantrum right now because I'm very frustrated.
Please don't cry like that. Please don't, Brennan.
Anyway, we'll see where we go from here. Alright, so I've got me table plastic again, and I'm going to push it in tight. Alright, I'm going to get my texter, and I'm going to absolutely force it in crevices. Hopefully I don't stuff the end of my texter, but if I do, big deal. Alright, do that, hold it in there, run from underneath. I'm going to run a, come on, straight line across there, something like that. Alright, and then what I want to do is force that up under where my lip's going to be for me plenum. I guess I'm getting rid of two birds with one stone here. which is good, in a very, very annoyingly frustrating, give Jeff the whoops kind of a way. Right, that's rough as guts. Right, but I know what I'm doing with it, same as the last video. I know what that means to me. Cut along here. God, that creaking shed really annoys me. Well, that's what happens when you build your shed too close to a pine tree, you goose. I don't whinge, Jeff. Well, this stupid repair got me all cranky in my pants. Alright, that gives me somewhere to go. Now I'm gonna translate that onto the steel, and I'm gonna bend the steel, and yeah, I'm not gonna record the whole thing. I'll come back when I've got it bent up. It just keeps getting more interesting this week. So bend this up, put the little kink in it and shaped it and made it all lovely, and that goes there, and you put it there, and it's, wow, Jeff, what a great job. And then I go, but wait a minute, if I've got all that off and I'm going to weld that up, then I may as well make this up. So this is going to be one of those weeks where eating this elephant one bite at a time, we've got to some chewy bits. So it might be one bite at a time, but man, we're going to chew each bite. Oh, butter. This is like... oh, this is the game we play. Alright, I've put all me whining and whinging and sooking and... no, I haven't. I was going to say aside, but I just want to chuck a tantrum. But anyway, it is what it is. I've decided that I'm just going to bite the bullet. Crunch time. And I set up, that's my makeshift stand. I was struggling with how to hold me flipping camera all the time, and I had this thing I found. It's a pretty seriously bent bit of, and I thought, I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but it looks cool, so I want to. And for probably the last 15 odd videos, that's been my stand. I use a cheap Oppo phone. Part of I call bull is doing everything on a budget. Well, everything's done on a budget around here. Anyway, I digress. I'm just going to get my little air saw there and cut out the eyesore. Use the air saw to cut out the eyesore. So I'm going to cut this bit out, and I'm going to make a template up out of the plastic, and it's just going to be a lot of beating and shaping, and I guess I'm going to do all of it in fast forward, because I don't like putting out 1 hour long videos. I don't even like putting out 45-minute videos, and I do appreciate you guys watching them, but let's try and get this thing done in a rush, but without compromising quality. Alright, that took ages with the air saw. And I ended up finishing it with the angle grinder because I just got sick and tired of being vibrated all over the place. So I'm going to get my template. Right, I'm just going to roughly make sure we're still on the same spot, which we are. The hole in the template is a lot bigger than the hole that I've cut. No, it's not. I lied to myself. It's pretty similar. Okay, so now what I need to do is refit up the template to figure out what goes where and how I'm going to go about. Yeah, okay, so basically this is just going to be a lot of beating. So I know that that is the flat, so all this comes up, all this comes up, and then this shoots off to the side. So basically, where am I? Basically all of this here has to be shaped out, and then this runs off on the angle up towards this bit here. So I'm going to be just beating snot out of it for the next few minutes. So I'll time lapse again. This video, I'm sorry, this video is mostly going to be time lapsing because I just don't have the inclination all the time to just continue talking to the camera and making an hour-long video like I said before. So do apologise, but also I think you understand. I'm very aware that I'm running out of time for the day. I'd like to get this at least shaped in, but that's where we are now. I don't know how much longer I've got, but it can't be long, can't be any more than about 40 minutes. So if you have a look at that, ignore all this curled up bit, that'll all make sense in a little while. I've got a lot of the shape in. It's not perfect. I'm going to chuck a couple of techs in now, line it up where I want it, get a couple of techs in, and then I'm going to put a bit of heat in, beat a little bit. I may even take the planishing hammer off there, bring it over here and use that to kind of mould it into place as well. Yeah, we'll see. I'm just going to keep on doing it till it's done. Alright, after all that banging and heating and banging and heating, and I caught everything on fire under there. I don't know if you saw that in the video. That's where we've kind of ended up. I'm not sure what the time is, but I've got to be running out of it. So, if I don't have any more time today, when I come back, which won't be till... Today is Wednesday, I got to work tomorrow and Friday. So I won't be back in here till at least Saturday, probably more like Monday. So yeah, I've got to put a bit of a... I'm going to put a right angle on this baby here. I'm not going to touch it because it's probably still hot. I have marked it down there. I'll put a right angle on that, and then this here, I'm probably just going to cut it because I've got to do some shaping around the front, and I think it's going to be easier if I do that in some sections, a bit like I did with the roof stuff there, where I did the bracing underneath. Make it up in some sections. I'm not unhappy with that. It's not beautiful. I've got some work to do on it, a lot of planishing to do. Yeah, I don't mind putting a bit of heat into the metal and getting it to where I want it to be. I've always done a heat and beat, and it's always served me really well. Yeah, I'm still trying to get my head around having those things and using them. So anyway, it's probably been an hour and a half beating on this thing to get it to there. It's ugly, but they all start off ugly, and then like this thing here, you know, in time they become a lot more prettiful, and then eventually you cover them with enough crap that nobody would ever know anyway, unless they went back and watched the videos or looked at photos. So anyway, that's probably it for today. It's a new day. It's a beautiful day. Look at that. Not a cloud in the sky. Oh yeah, one tiny one. Reminds me of a Bible story about a cloud the size of a fist bringing an end to the drought in Israel. Okay, that's where we landed last week. I've cut this off since I stopped recording. So, I'm actually pretty happy with that shape. Obviously not all the hammer marks and stuff. I've got to do some tidying up of that. But the actual general shape is pretty good. I'll probably go down to the CM Valiant down there and take some photos and some, maybe a couple of templates of what that's supposed to look like. But for now, I'll continue on with this, and I've got to make up this front section this morning. So I have to figure out exactly how this bit ends and then how this bit starts, and if I get down here, I put that in place. So that's basically what we're starting with today. Where are we? This bit has to bend down to meet this bit. So that's me firewall. That's me plenum. They'll meet up. I've got to make the front of this. So there's, you know, there's still work to do. My daughter asked me if I wasn't enjoying it anymore, and I said I am. I enjoy when I complete a patch, you know, or a good chunk, or I get something done like that. It's very rewarding to look at, and you know, that's very rewarding to look at. That's like studying for an exam. That's the only way I can relate it to her, because she's a smart cookie. It's like studying for an exam, and when the exam's over and you get a good mark, you feel good about it. Well, right now it's this study period, because I've got to get everything, you know, dimensions and shapes, and do all the work, and then the reward is afterwards. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to record every bit or whether I'm just going to time lapse, or I don't know. Today's a new day and I haven't quite got my head around it. I think I'd really like to listen to some music in the shed while I do this. And the beauty of YouTube is if I put too much music in there, they kick me out. So as much as it's a great platform to show you guys this stuff, I think I'm actually just going to get on with it today. Make headway and take photos and updates and just do little cut-in segments. Let me know in the comments if that annoys you or if you're okay with it. I've started making up this shape here. So if you can see, I've cut some things around and bent that down a little bit. I tried to make this up as one, but it's just really not working. So I've started beating that using the stump. I've English wheeled it first, just so I can put a bit of stretch in the metal so it'll conform better. I actually am really liking that shape, so I'll continue on with that. But just this one here, I'm cutting some shapes, so I've tech screwed in this bottom bit, and then I've made me joiner up there. I'll tech screw that all in. Then on this side of it, I've got to round it backwards, so I'll probably use the edge of that to get my shape backwards. I may use yet the, what is this thing called? Metal bender, sheet metal brake, whatever you want to call it. And then to get the rounded shape of it, I'll probably use that thing there. I actually use that all the time. And when you look at the original video of this thing, the guy's got square tubing, I think it's for Carla hitch receiver, welded on the side here, and then he makes jigs up and he cuts that around so that it comes up on a big stand and sticks out like a beak, and you can use that as your anvil, I guess you'd call it, for forging your bits of steel. So anyway, that's where I'm at. I'm going to keep on. I hope you people appreciate what I do for you. I've just turned off Credence to do this bit of the video. That's not okay. Anyway, this is where I'm at. That's ugly. Ugly. But the shape's alright. I've got, see, that's a bit of the original one there. See how that's welded on there? So I'm going to take that over to the stump and I'm going to flog it until it's that shape there. I've got to fill in, turn it over. I've got to fill in all these with little bits of pieces, which I'll weld on the underside. And the reason I'll weld them on the underside is because then I don't have to grind them. And if I don't grind them, then they hold more strength. And that's always a bonus. So I'll weld all those little patch bits in. There's one there, there. I'll weld all them in, except for that one there on the underside, right? And then I will grind it on the top to get it all smooth after I've planished it. And then what'll happen is I'll only have to put a little fill of stuff in to make it level and smooth, and that needs to be level and smooth because what you don't want is rain catching in there. So it's actually quite important that that is rather smooth and the water can just flow out and get out of your way. So the reason these block up, the reason these rust out is because they block up. So leaves get in through those vents there, and grass and dust and dirt and whatever, and then it catches down here in these little sections and it just builds up over time and then holds the moisture, and the moisture can't escape, so it just sits there rotting away your metal. So all of that to say that I'll be filling it, smoothing it, painting it and putting lots of layers on so that that's not a problem. and I'll do all that before I put that back on. But I've got to get that made up and looking beautiful so that I can test fit that, say yeah that works, so then I can go on with this, so then I can get back to the original repair that I was doing in this video, for crying out loud. I'm using the planishing hammer to knock out some of the what are they called? The hammer marks from when I beat this thing around and heat it and beat it. So I just thought I'd give you a bit of a demonstration on that. You can already see that it's much better. I'm leaving it with a little bit of slack, alright, so there's a bit of wiggle room, because I want that hammer to be able to labour. Remember, I've just got a brass toe ball under there, so let's turn the air back on. I'm running about 100 psi, but it gets down fairly low. Bit of a noise warning. Alright, that's planished. Probably show you better from the back. So obviously there's still some shapes there, but I'm not going to get them out, so I'm not that worried about it. There's still some smoothing and filling and sanding and all this in here. We'll have to get sanded and smoothed, but I need to find my die grinder, and I need to get some decent carbide bits for the die grinder. Don't bother buying the little stones, they're crap and they just disappear in seconds. So you think, oh yeah, I'll get them and grind my welds. Hopeless. Pay the extra money and get carbide bits, they'll last for ages. They are expensive though, I will not lie there. Anyway, I'm going to go over, I'm going to see if I can start tacking this in. Cut the other one out and tack it in. I may not be ready for that yet, I'm not going to jump the gun if I'm not, but I'm going to see. I got a comment last week after I put up the video from a bloke who said it's too rusty, use it for a parts car, and I was like, obviously you don't understand the nature of this this channel. This channel's about, you know, on a budget, bringing what's dead back. But when you're cutting out that much in a hit, you can kind of understand why people get freaked out by it, because that's a lot. I'm not unaware that that is a lot to be putting back in. But that being said, yeah, I made that out of nothing, and once it's all in and ready to go, nobody will know the difference. So no, I won't be using this as a parts car. Yes, I can understand your concerns, and that's what a little bit of time will get you. Now, I got to admit, I just looked at the clock and I've been here like 4 hours longer than I thought I had been. So it's definitely going to take time, but you can do it. It's just eating an elephant. That's all it is, one bite at a time. Other thing, my brother sent me a message. Oh, you should just clear the engine bay. You know, I like it bare metal. You should clear it. No, Brian, I won't be doing that. It will be green. So I'm gonna get to tacking that in. I'll come back when it's tacked in, and then I'll fully weld it, and then I'll probably end the video on that today, because dang, it's getting late. So that's that stitched in. Where was I going to go with this conversation that we are having? Oh, you'll notice that, or you might notice, I didn't cool down in between. I just kind of ran my welds. And the reason I did that is because it doesn't really matter under here. We're not looking for panel perfection. We're not worried about a bit of warpage. So I just got on with it and got it done. So that is basically how that's going to look for now. I have to make the ring up that sits on top, which you saw me take out in the beginning. There'll be a little bit of hammer and dolly work, but not a massive amount. I'm not going to overthink this. I've got a big gap there because I kind of cut it in place, and that's what I ended up with. I started to stitch it shut, but then I thought, well, you know, I've got to do all this work up here, so I'm not going to get too worried about it right now, because I may have to come down there when I do this bit, which I did say at the beginning is today that I would probably go down to the CM in the paddock and have a look at that, but I'm not, because it's after 4 o'clock now and I'm done. It's a Saturday and I really would like some rest. Turn off this. However, I won't finish the video until I get at least this repair that I started with done. So I've still got some work to do before we finish up this week's episode, but we're a lot better position than we were when we started, that's for sure. Yeah, the never-ending story. But I signed up for this and you've subscribed for this, so let's get the job done. Let's walk this journey together, eh? Alright, I will catch you guys tomorrow. Alright, this is the original plate I made up as a section down here to bridge between the bit that came out that the new skin had to sit on. So I've, where is it? That's this bit here. I had that, right, and then I had to weld that to it so that I could get all the shapes right for this. However, since I've unstitched that, taken all the spot welds out, I've discovered there's more rust. What a shock. What a shock for this episode. So I've made a new one that's longer, and I'm just going to trim that up. So that's, try not to get too silly with this. So basically, that's how much longer I've made it. And I've got to trim it up. Basically, I've got to trim it up and then spot weld the new one of those that I've made up to it. Where are you? Which way around do you go? That way. So there's that. And then I can put in this bit here, which is the original bit, which was what the whole episode was going to be, like 20 minutes long, and it was just going to be me whacking that in with a few photos and a couple of little, this is how I did that. But unfortunately it grew and grew and grew, so that's where we're at. I've got to trim this around, I've got to weld that in. I'll be welding that probably inside the vehicle. I'm not going to show you all of that stuff, we've done enough welding and stuff, but so that's where I'm going to be today, because it's a new day yet again. I think I'm up to day 4 on this one repair. Yeah, anyway, that's the way it goes. So I'll come back to you when I've got some progress in place. Okay, welded it all up and it looks just like that. No, the old reveal. Okay, so this is now this, and all of this is now this. I think it was about, I'd have to say, there'd have to be about, I don't know, 10 hours in that lot, maybe a bit more. So, it's not going to be a quick process. But that's alright. I'm going to leave it there. I think that you guys have suffered through enough. I've got to clean it up. I've got a lot more welding to do. I won't bore you with all of that. Hey, I came across a guy last night. He did a tribute XT Falcon GT. And he's from Western Australia, which is where I'm from. RRUSTY71 is his channel on YouTube. So Rusty71 with 2 R's. Give him a look. And if I can encourage you guys to subscribe, because he doesn't really have many subscribers, and it's a good channel, and I think his car was almost as bad as this one, if not as bad. So, and he did it in 7 months. So, yeah, if you could do that, go over and check him out, Rusty71. I'll leave a link down the bottom in the description. Look, bless you guys. Thank you for watching. The world's in a tumultuous kind of way at the moment. And it's hard to keep focused on the little things like this, but hey, be kind to one another. It's free to be kind, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Hey, be blessed.